So you're thinking about moving to the Bay Area? Well, before you do decide to make that move, there are some things I want you to consider because I want you to be well prepared. So we're going to get into it right now. So first and foremost, let's talk about the cost of living. The Bay Area consistently ranks as one of the most expensive places to live in the United States, as housing prices can feel insanely expensive, with the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in cities such as San Francisco, Mountain View, Sunnyvale, it can hover to around $3,000 now. Also, the San Jose metro area has recently been named the first metro area in the country where the median home price of a home was over $2 million. So, it's no surprise when Bay Area residents were polled if they were to move out, what would be the main reason? 67% said the reason they would consider moving out was the housing costs. So when you factor in utilities, dining out, transportation, daycare, entertainment, all of which are more expensive, relative to the rest of the country, it can quickly add up to a staggering amount. And for families, the cost of housing may push you into neighborhoods that are less desirable or further away from your workplace, leading to longer commutes. And if you're not financially prepared for this kind of lifestyle, it can lead to significant stress. All right, the second thing I want to talk about is the housing competition. So to give you some context, first, the Bay Area is home to some of the largest tech companies in the world. Google, Apple, Meta, Nvidia, you name it. So these companies attract highly paid professionals from all over the world, creating incredibly strong demand for housing. But on the other hand, there's a limited supply of homes, especially in areas close to major tech hubs like Palo Alto, Mountain View, and Cupertino. So with strict zoning laws, slow construction rates, and geographical limits, like the Bay and the mountains here, it makes it hard to build new homes quickly. So we've got this perfect storm: high demand and low supply, which drives competition through the roof. So when it comes to buying a home in the Bay Area, you'll often be involved with multiple offers and bidding wars, and this is probably the number one thing that shocks home buyers moving to the Bay Area. You often see homes listed at what seems like a reasonable price, let's say like 1.2 million. But don't get too excited just yet, because that price is often just a starting point. And not only that, the housing market here also moves extremely fast. And to give you some context, most houses in the US sit on the market for about 60 days, but here in the Bay Area, the median is actually 10 days. So in high demand areas such as places near tech hubs and good school districts, within days, sometimes even hours, multiple offers will start coming in. So, it's not uncommon for homes to receive 5 to 10 offers, and sometimes even more. And of those offers, many will be above the asking price, sometimes even $200,000 to $500,000 over asking. Many buyers also waive contingencies like no inspection, no appraisal, no loan contingencies. This means they're taking on more risk to make their offer as attractive as possible. It's a high stakes game, and you have to be prepared for that going in. So it's crucial to have a strategy in place before you even start your home search. And if you'd love to have a more in-depth knowledge about my strategy, set a meeting with me on my calendar and we can discuss. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the taxes. So first, let's talk about the property tax. So the Bay Area has some of the highest real estate prices in the entire country. And even though California does have like Prop 13 to limit annual property tax increase, you could still be looking at a tax bill of tens of thousands of dollars a year. Property taxes here typically sit about 1 to 1.25% of your home's value. Now, that may not sound too crazy, but remember, a median priced home in San Jose, for example, is about $2 million. So, you're looking about, let's say, like $20,000 per year in just property taxes, almost like $1,800 per month just in taxes. And that's before, mortgage payment, insurance, or, basic home maintenance costs. But the high taxes aren't just on property. California has also the highest state income tax in the nation, as the state income tax rate starts at 1% and goes all the way up to 13.3% for top earners. And you also can't forget about the sales tax, where in the Bay Area it's also one of the highest in the nation. So here in the Bay Area, depending on where you live, sales tax can range from about 8.75% to 10.25%. So every time you get dinner, buy a TV, buy a car, you're paying some of the highest sales taxes here in the entire country. So if you're moving from a state with lower taxes, this could come as a shock to our financial system. So be sure to plan accordingly. So if you're new to this channel and you want to know everything there is about living in the Bay Area, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you could be the first to know, what it's like to live here in the Bay Area. Hey, my name is Austin Lee. I'm a real estate agent here based in the Bay Area, and I help people just like you, make that move here in the Bay Area and absolutely love it now. So, whether you're making that move in 9 days or 90 days, send me an email, set an appointment on my calendar, and I'd love for the opportunity to serve and help you. All right, the next topic I want to discuss is the homelessness situation, which unfortunately is a pressing issue here in the Bay Area. The region has one of the highest rates of homelessness in the country, with thousands of individuals living on the streets or in temporary shelters. San Francisco alone has an estimate of 7,000 to 8,000 homelessness individuals, and these numbers fluctuate based on various factors, including the economy and housing availability. So what's driving this crisis? A combination of high housing costs, lack of affordable housing, and social economical factors contribute to the problem. Many people who did find themselves homeless were often just one paycheck away from losing their homes. Especially because here, rent can consume a significant portion of one's income. As housing prices soar, affordable housing options become more scarce and pushing many into precarious living situations. And the visibility of homelessness can be jarring, as it's not uncommon to encounter encampments in urban areas, which can lead to feelings of discomfort or concern for safety. Now, Bay Area residents often express worry about public safety, especially in neighborhoods where homelessness is concentrated. So while most homeless individuals are, they're not dangerous, the presence of encampments can raise legitimate concerns regarding sanitation, public health, and crime. All right, another topic I want to talk about is the traffic. So the Bay Area is notorious for its heavy traffic congestion, and according to various studies, San Francisco and its surrounding regions consistently rank as one of the most congested cities in the United States. And in fact, 2023 report indicated that drivers in the Bay Area spend an average about 83 hours a year stuck in traffic. So that's nearly 2 full work weeks lost to gridlock. And with many tech companies mandating return to office beginning in January 2025, it's likely to get worse before it gets better. So during rush hour, major highways like the Highway 101, Highway 280, and the Bay Bridge, they've become like parking lots. And it's not uncommon for a commute that should take 30 minutes to stretch into an hour or more. And even local roads feel the strain, with side streets and alternative routes, they've become congested as well as drivers seek to avoid the main roads. Now, public transportation does exist, such as BART, Muni, and Caltrain, but many residents still prefer to drive, which adds to the congestion. Also, there's a cultural reliance on cars here, so it can make public transportation feel less appealing. All right, the next topic I want to talk about is the politics in the area, as it is another reason why residents say they would consider moving out of the Bay Area. So I'll briefly talk about it because I don't think it's as simple as I vote Republican, everyone else votes Democrat, so hence I want to leave. So to give some context, the Bay Area has long been considered one of the most progressive regions in the entire country, as San Francisco, Oakland, and Berkeley, they're known for their liberal policies, while Silicon Valley is famous for pushing innovation and tech. So also social issues are often a big deal here, whether it's about racial equality, LGBTQ rights, or debates over homelessness. But what I really say makes residents frustrated about living in the Bay Area were policies like Prop 47, which is a policy that reduced crimes like shoplifting, theft under $950, and drug possession. They were reduced from felonies to misdemeanors. And unfortunately, it just became more of a loophole for more crime to occur, which angered business owners and affected the perception of safety. Car break-ins in areas such as San Francisco and Oakland were also more prevalent in years past, and to be honest, the police here, they don't really prosecute these people, unfortunately. Another example is during the COVID-19 pandemic, as the Bay Area implemented some of the strictest lockdowns and public health mandates in the entire country. And for some residents, the state's approach to handling the pandemic, whether it came to mandates on vaccines, masks, and extended business closures, was just seen as an overreaction of government authority. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is the fast-paced lifestyle in the Bay Area, as the Bay Area is full of opportunity, but with that comes incredibly high expectations, as people move here from all over the world to chase success, whether that's in tech, venture capital, or entrepreneurship. And the idea of striking it big is what draws so many people to the area. Startups and venture capital firms are everywhere, and you're constantly hearing stories of the next unicorn company. But with all that excitement comes a huge amount of pressure as well. You're expected to succeed at a high level, whether that's launching your own company or advancing rapidly in your career. Whether you're an engineer, a startup founder, or a professional in any other field, there's a sense that you have to constantly hustle to keep up. And the competition here can be fierce. You're surrounded by some of the brightest minds, but that also means there's always someone just as talented, if not more so talented, right next to you. For some, this is exhilarating, as it's exciting to be surrounded by people who are ambitious and driven. But for others, it can feel overwhelming. Like you always have to be on, and you never really get to fully relax or unwind compared to other parts of the country where it generally has a slower pace of life. All right, that's all I have to share. So even though there are some downsides living in the Bay Area also offers opportunities like nowhere else. Hence, a lot of people find the trade-offs worth it, and they still want to live here. So drop in the comments, what do you think people should consider before moving to the Bay Area? And with that, let's stay connected, and I'll see you in the next video.